and how are you today? I hope you're ready to create. If you know what happens in May, you know that Mother's Day is coming up soon. And so, since we can't make art at school to bring home to our family, I thought that I would give you an idea of something that you can make for Mother's Day. Now, you could give this to your mother, your grandmother, your aunt, your sister, anybody, your dad, anybody who takes care of you, that you love and is special to you. Um, this artwork is inspired by Chris Uphughes. He's an artist who lives in Chicago, Illinois, near where I grew up. And so before we start, I have a quick video from an art teacher friend of mine. Her name is Cassie Stevens, and she shows us how to draw some hearts like Chris Uphughes, and then I'll show you how to use those hearts and make a new project. Now, I want you to know, this project uses some materials you might not have at home. It uses some paint, it uses some construction paper. While you watch the video, I will give you some tips and some ways that you could change the art to fit the things that you might have at home. So even if you think, I don't have any paint, Miss Collier, try to watch the video and see maybe you could make some substitutions or some changes to be able to make this artwork at home even though you don't have paint. I'm going to cast my screen and we're going to watch a video about Chris Uphughes with my art teacher friend, Cassie Stevens. Okay, so we're not going to watch the whole video, but we're going to watch part of it. So here we go.
Allow me to introduce you to one of my favorite artists, Chris Uphughes. Chris is an artist who lives and works in Chicago, Illinois. You can find his artwork practically anywhere. He's considered a street artist, and what that means is that you can find his artwork out on the street, or on the sides of buildings, and sometimes even on the sides of windows. The cool thing is you can even find his artwork printed on things like clothing and stickers. One of his favorite motifs or things to create are hearts. And the hearts all have a whole lot of character, from silly faces to happy grins, you name it, his hearts have it. And we are going to create our own Chris Uphughes inspired heart masterpiece today. So why are we still talking about it? Let's get to making it. First, we're going to start with a dry erase board, a marker, and an eraser. You can have your artwork going side to side, that's horizontal, or vertical. I'm going with horizontal. Let's talk about how to draw a heart. Start with two curves, make a diagonal line that goes down, and another diagonal line that meets it. Practice makes perfect, and that's why we're drawing our hearts on a dry erase board. Now I know what you're thinking, Miss Stevens. I know how to draw a heart. To which I say, why are you talking so weirdly? And it never hurts to practice. And if you're an expert heart drawer, then what you can work on is figuring out your composition. That's the placement of things. In Chris Uphughes' work, he has a lot of big hearts and then medium-sized hearts and small hearts. He also does something called overlapping. But right now, I am just practicing getting my heart perfected. Yep, I think I nailed it. Now let's talk about designing our composition for our masterpiece.
So here's an instance. If you don't have a dry erase board, what could you use instead? Yeah, paper and pencil.
Composition is the placement of things. Before, when I was drawing my hearts, I was drawing them separately. Now let's talk about having some hearts look as though they are being overlapped or in front of other hearts. Practice that next on your board. Once you've mastered drawing the heart, start sketching out on your dry erase board your composition. The best part about Chris's hearts are the faces. So there are some idea sheets on your table. Using the idea sheets, start planning out the silly faces for your hearts. Use all of the different ideas on the sheet and all of the different mouth ideas too. Of course, you should totally make up your own ideas. That's why we call this an idea sheet, not a copy sheet. So make sure you study it carefully so that you can get all sorts of ideas. Okay, why don't we just push the pause button right here now that we know we're going to practice our drawing and our sketching on our dry erase board. We're going to take a break, go to our seats, and really take our time to figure out what our design will look like. You might get a chance to work on your heart design today on a piece of paper with a pencil, but you might also be waiting until next art class. If you're waiting until next art class, that's okay. Totally start sketching and planning your design now. So what are you waiting for? Let's go get started on our sketches on the dry erase boards.
So you're going to see me later that I'm going to cut out some hearts, but I'm still going to draw some of these faces. So if you come back to this part in the video and look at that sheet with the different eyes and mouths, that'd be a great spot to get some, like Miss Stevens said, ideas for some faces or mouths if you don't have any ideas of your own. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. We're not going to finish the rest of the video because we're going to do a different project using the same hearts. So here's a picture of my finished product, and you might notice that there are a couple steps to this project. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to need some paint and a place to put it. You're going to squeeze out a little bit of blue, yellow, and some pink. If you don't have blue, yellow, and pink, you could use any colors that you want. Then you're going to take a toilet paper tube and you're going to smash it into the shape of a heart. Once your toilet paper tube is in the shape of a heart, you're going to put it in the color of paint that you want. I'm going to start with blue. You're going to dab in the paint, and then you're going to print it all over your paper. My paper is black, but if you don't have black paper, you can use white paper, you can use cardboard, you can use any color of paper that the paint will show up on. You can even put your hearts off on the edge, kind of like they're coming off the side of the paper. You'll see that I have another paper underneath my black paper, so that way I don't get my table all messy. Once you've filled up your paper with your first color, then you can go to your second color. Now, I did not clean off my toilet paper or get another one because I know that when I mix blue and yellow, it makes, that's right, green. And I was okay with having some yellowish, greenish hearts, but if you are not sure if your two colors are going to mix or you don't want them to mix, flip your toilet paper over, your toilet paper roll over, or get a new one. But I know that I don't want to mix three colors together, so I wiped off as much of the old paint off of my toilet paper roll before moving on to my third color, the pink. As you're working, try to fill up all the spaces that you can. You want to see the black, but only just peeking through the hearts. And if you need to go back to one of your first two colors to add a few more, you can. Now set this off to the side to dry, and we'll work on the other part now. For the next part of the project, you'll need some colored construction paper, some white paper, a black marker, a glue stick, and scissors. If you don't have colored construction paper, you can just use white paper. That's totally fine. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to fold over my construction paper, and I'm going to trace the shape of a heart. But I only traced half of my heart. With my marker, I'm going to draw half of my heart right on the folded part of the paper. Now, when I cut out my heart, instead of only having a half of a heart, I'll get a whole one once I unfold it. Ta-da! Now I'm going to do that same thing on some of my other colored paper. And remember, Chris Uphues had lots of different sizes of hearts. Some were big, some were small, some were medium. So I'm going to make several different sizes of hearts on my construction paper. Now that I have all my hearts cut out, I am going to start adding faces. You'll notice that I use some white paper to add some details with the eyes, but if you don't have white paper, you can just draw on the eyes and that's fine too. Keep track of all my stuff, I'm going to glue my eyes down now. So I'm going to cover my whole side with glue and I'm going to push and count to 10. Since it's sped up, it doesn't seem like I count to 10, but I did in real life. Once I've got the eyes glued down, I'm going to go back and I'm going to use my marker to add the detail of the mouth and a nose. This is a great time to go back in the video when you're making these and to check that sheet that Cassie Stevens showed us to get some ideas for mouths and eyes that you like. If you want to keep watching me cut out and glue my eyes and my noses and mouths, you can keep watching, or you can scroll forward until you see the black piece of paper with the hearts, where I glued down my big hearts onto my background sheet of paper. now I'm almost finished with my hearts, and I'm going to pull out my background paper because it is dry, and I'm going to arrange my bigger hearts on my background paper. Remember how Cassie Stevens used the word composition? So before I glue them down, I'm going to lay them all on the paper and decide on a composition that I like. And there you have my Chris Uphues inspired Mother's Day artwork. I hope you'd enjoy this video and create your own artwork at home.